he hit me in the mouth with a closed fist.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
20-year-old Yo-Yo Shu is suing Carl Pogue for assaulting him at a restaurant.
Order. All rise. It's case number 326 on the calendar, the matter Shea versus Polk. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Each of you tells a different story about an event that occurred a couple of years ago where you allege, Mr. Shea, that you were injured by the defendant, who you say punched you.
Yes, Your Honor.
This is what I'm visualizing from the story, and then I'm going to let you pick it up. You were going to a restaurant.
Yes, Your Honor.
What kind of restaurant?
It was a breakfast brunch cafe.
Where? In what city?
In San Mateo, California.
Who were you there with?
My father, my brother, my mother, my aunt, and my uncle.
How many people were you?
6 people total, including me.
And the restaurant was busy.
Yes.
So according to what I read, you were waiting outside.
Yes, that's correct.
Were there other
20 people.
What time of the day was it?
It was around noontime.
And what day of the week?
It was Sunday.
You remember the date?
It was the 20th of December, 2015.
And you decided that you had to use the restroom.
Yes, that's correct.
So you were going into the restaurant.
Correct.
Mr. Pogue and his family had been having brunch and were finished. Is that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
And who were you with?
I was with my wife and our 2 sons, Isaiah and Alan.
How old are they?
They are 8 and 9 years old.
And you got up to leave, you paid your bill, and according to what I read, pretty consistent on both sides, you were holding the door open for your wife.
That's correct,
so
Your
that
Honor.
she and the children could leave.
Right.
And the appropriate thing is for you to wait until he's not holding the door for you. He's holding the door for his wife, to wait until his wife and children leave, then take the door from him and go in, right?
Right.
That's not what you did. What you did was scoot past them to go into the restaurant. Not a tragedy, rude.
Sure.
And that's what he said to you.
Correct.
He said, according to you, that was rude. Is that what he said?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what did you say?
I said, I'm not rude, you're rude.
Well, so then you were wrong, because I'm telling you, you were...
When he opened the door, his wife was nowhere near the door, and because he was taking a prolonged period of time, I decided to squeeze in first.
You were rude.
Maybe so.
Right. And he called you out on it. He said you were rude. Even if you think that his wife was taking too long, you were still wrong because he wasn't rude. You think him telling you that you were rude was why he was rude?
Yes, I felt like the tone, the voice that he said that in.
You didn't like his tone?
No.
Did you grow up in California?
Yes.
They talk an awful lot about tones and feelings here in California.
Sure do.
Feelings are hurt like that. You grow up in Brooklyn, you're not so interested in your feelings. You're interested in getting across the street.
Sure.
So you didn't like his tone. So his tone you thought was rude. Now I think I have created the word picture for people out there. You're rude. No, you're rude. Pick it up from there.
Yes, Your Honor.
Shu.
After that, he left the restaurant. I went to the bathroom as I had planned to do, and I washed my hands. I used the toilet, and then I headed back out to...
In that order?
No, not in that order, Your Honor. Toilet first, then the sink, and then I left.
I'm just curious. I mean, it wouldn't be terrible, but
And then as I was leaving the restaurant, right as I approached the front door, I saw Mr. Pogue come into the restaurant with a different outfit than I had first seen him in. And he said, hey, do you want to fight me? You want to challenge, tough guy?
No.
And then I told him to back up because he was trying to get in my face. You know, he was...
Okay, and this conversation is taking place in the restaurant, outside the restaurant? Where?
It was immediately inside the restaurant, right inside the doorway.
Is there a vestibule?
No.
So it's right at the door, but you're inside the restaurant?
Yes.
Okay, is the door open or closed?
Closed.
Keep going.
And then I told Mr. Pogue to back up. I said, hey, back up, back up, don't touch me, because he was getting really close to me.
So he got very close to you.
Yes.
And?
And I asked him to back up.
You told me that already.
Yes.
And
he did back up, and he turned around to leave the restaurant. And right as he stepped foot outside the restaurant, I had also stepped foot outside the restaurant, and the door closed behind us. And then Mr. Pogue suddenly turned around, and he said, "Hey, you know, tough guy." And then he hit me in the mouth with a closed fist.
Okay. So when you said, "Hey, get away from me," who exited the restaurant first?
Mr.
To see your family.
Correct.
Just for curiosity's sake, because he has a different version of the story. Now you have a nut whose family is gone. He went to the car, changed his outfit.
Correct.
To come back into the restaurant, you think, to look for you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And now you're both standing at the door, and you say he's in your face, but his back is to the door, right?
Yes.
And he was moving closer to you because you say he was in your face.
Correct.
And you say to him, so now you see this nut is sort of confronting you, Mr. Shu, and you say, "Get away from me, you know, you're in my face, you're in my space."
Yes.
So Mr. Pogue has to turn around.
Yes.
So now he's facing the door, and he goes out the door.
Correct.
An intelligent young man would say, "You know what? I'm going to stay in here for a minute and let him leave." That's what an intelligent young man would do. Would say, "Well, because I haven't started with him yet. I have somebody who's aggressive, who clearly came back looking for trouble. It appears that I have averted trouble because he's leaving. I don't think I'm going to go right back to join my family. The table wasn't ready. They weren't giving it to somebody else."
Right.
So what did you go outside for?
You
weren't thinking all morning. You weren't thinking. You weren't thinking when you scooted in, when he was holding the door. You weren't thinking when this nut job who went to his car, changed his clothes, came back looking for a fight. You said, "You want to fight me?" And he said, "Nah, I'm leaving." And he turns around and leaves, and you follow him right outside.
Well, Your Honor, the entire confrontation happened so quickly, I didn't have time to think.
Okay. And he punched you.
Yes.
In the face.
Yes.
And this case dragged on in the criminal court for 2 years. And were there ever any charges filed?
Yes, 2 misdemeanor charges were filed, but they were dismissed due to lack of evidence.
They were dismissed. Okay, and that's why you're here now 2 years later, because you want some financial compensation for being hit.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Pogue, you want to tell me your version of the events?
Absolutely, I do, Your Honor.
So
the initial contact.
The initial contact we understand.
Right.
You're holding the door for your wife.
Right.
Mr. I can't wait to go to the bathroom.
Right. He walks
Scoots
through my
in.
wife. He actually physically walks through her. It's not
Well,
like
he
she
didn't
was...
walk through her.
He did.
He can't walk through your wife. She's not an invisible person. He can't walk through your wife.
In terms
but he
of
walked
physically,
around her.
in her space. He actually touched her.
I got
Okay.
exactly what he did.
Okay.
I got to say, then a look. When somebody does that to me, if I'm holding the door
Right.
for one of my grandchildren and
Right.
some idiot scoots in and doesn't let that child go, I
Right.
look at him like this. Idiot.
Yeah. Well, I said it in terms of you're rude, and he got
That was
close enough to
actually
my face.
nicer than I would have done.
It wasn't. He was aggressive. He got in my face close enough to spit in my face and tell me that I'm rude. Okay.
Okay.
So
No,
at this point,
what he said, "No, you're rude."
exactly.
I got exactly.
Right.
I got exactly what happened.
With the spit and
I got
the
exactly
physical-
what happened.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He backed me up 10, 15 feet out the door.
Okay.
I told him again to take his hands off me.
Okay.
I did not punch him. I struck him with a forearm. That's how
Whether you
close
punched
he was
him or
to me.
not, if he put his hands on you first, then he deserved whatever he got.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Yo-Yo Shu is accusing Carl Pogue of punching him in the mouth during an altercation at a restaurant.
Keep going.
Okay, so I get my family to the car. I put on a jacket, and I walk back in the restaurant.
Forward. Ah, there we go, Mr. Pogue. Now that's your problem.
That is a problem, only to confront him, iterate with him that he was rude for what he did.
Mr. Pogue, unnecessary. Do you agree?
I agree.
And let me tell you who else told you it was unnecessary. She did, because you go to the car, you put her in the car with your 2 children. Did you tell him, forget it, let it go? No. That's what I'm asking you. That's either a yes or a no. Did you tell him, forget it, let it go?
Yes.
Stand up for 1 minute. I'm not trying to put you in difficult circumstance. Were you annoyed that he left you and the boys in the car while he went back to confront this guy?
Well, You know, the problem is that the car was right there, like five steps
To get
up, you know, from the door. So it was really fast. He just went there, opened the door for me again in the car, and then he went back in.
How could somebody so polite? You know, I've been married for 40 years. I've been opening car doors for myself for 40 years. You have somebody who holds the door open for you?
He's a good husband.
Right?
Yes.
And opens the car door for you?
Yes.
So from where you were sitting in the car, you could see what was going on?
Well, you know...
That's either a yes or a no.
To tell you the truth, no.
Good.
Because
That's all. I know. I want you to lie to me. Now you can sit down. Okay, so now you put on a jacket to go and confront him.
Reiterate that he was rude again.
I think that the word you used before was to confront him, to reiterate that he was rude.
Right. Confront doesn't always mean physically.
I didn't say it was physical.
Okay.
Keep going.
So
Yeah.
I walked in the restaurant. The young man was standing inside the door, obviously waiting for his table. He was not walking out the door. I walked up to him. I told him he was rude again. Again, he approached me in my face, backed me out the door. I told him to take his hands off me. He's
Just a
close
second.
enough.
When he backed you out the door,
Right.
where were his hands?
On my body.
Where on your body?
On my torso. He's leaning over me. This kid stands 6'3". He's leaning over me. He backed me up 10, 15 feet out the door.
Okay.
I told him again to take his hands off me. At that point, he didn't. He kept coming forward.
Okay.
I did not punch him. I struck him with a forearm. That's how
Whether you
close he
punched
was
him or
to
not,
me.
if he put his hands on you first, then he deserved whatever he got. Do you understand?
Yes, of course.
Did you put your hands on him, is my question.
Absolutely not.
I'd like to see the police report.
Sure. Here's the police report.
Okay. Did you have a medical bill, Mr. Shue?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Sure. Your Honor, if I could explain the bill. As a result of the attack and the punch to my face, I was wearing braces at the time. And
I know the police officer noticed a small scratch inside your cheek.
actually, I have photos that show the laceration, and the laceration was
I'd like to see it.
not what I would describe as small.
I suppose that depends upon whether it's happened to you or somebody else.
Sure.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When you went into the restaurant, it was colder. You went into the restaurant without a jacket. When you went back and dropped your wife off, what you want me to believe is the world stopped turning on the axis the way it usually does. It got colder after brunch.
And later today,
She actually said, I'm driving the car. It's my car. It's not my brother's car. And you had the car all the time.
She got it insured because I couldn't get it at the time.
Are you not following what I'm saying to you?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Yo-Yo Shu is accusing Carl Pogue of punching him in the mouth during an altercation at a restaurant.
All right, this is your problem, Mr. Pogue. Your problem is it was all over. I read the police report. Have you read it?
I have not had it.
Person who was there, who was a witness, who was interviewed by the police. Because when the police came, of course, your story was that he put his hands on you first. He may have gotten the short end of the stick after a confrontation, but he placed his hands on you first. My problem with your behavior, Mr. Pogue, is that you shouldn't have gone back into the restaurant. And not only shouldn't you have gone back into the restaurant, but you went back into the restaurant after changing your clothes, putting on a jacket and a beanie, had a jacket, beanie, and a toothpick.
Your
right?
Honor, it was December.
Judge-
It was 30 degrees outside.
Your wife just told me that the car was 5 feet away from the restaurant. That's what she just told me. So you didn't have to get all warmed up to go inside 5 feet. You actually walked into the restaurant. It didn't change that much in temperature. If anything, it usually gets warmer during the day. So when you went into the restaurant, it was colder. You went into the restaurant without a jacket. When you went back and dropped your wife off, what you want me to believe is the world stopped turning on the axis the way it usually does. It got colder after brunch. Now, you're a grown man, Mr. Pogue. If somebody calls you rude and you think that they're rude, that comes under the category of sticks and stones will break my bones. You thought that you were going to change his mood. Nothing that you would have said to him was going to change. He is very sure of himself. I think his behavior was silly, but your behavior was stupid, and your behavior caused this incident. Judgment
Your
for
Honor,
the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. We're done.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think the young man learned a valuable lesson that day.
I think her decision was excellent. She clearly saw through this man's intentions.
Look at the man. He stands 6'3" tall. I'm 5'9".
He came looking for a fight.
I'm a grown man. I can take care of myself.
He has no excuse to hit someone, anybody.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Davis versus Davis. Step forward.
24-year-old Jennifer Davis is suing her brother, 21-year-old Brian Davis, for the unpaid balance on a car loan.
Mr. Davis, how do you support yourself?
I work.
What kind of work do you do?
Oh, I'm in the healthcare field.
Your sister co-signed for a car for you,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
Was the car titled in your name or her name?
It was registered and insured under her name.
Only hers. Why is that?
For cheaper insurance.
That's fraudulent. It was your car. That's not an That's fraudulent. Why was it registered in your name?
He wasn't able to get insurance under his name and
Why?
a few months ago.
How old are you?
Me, I'm 21.
Oh, that's a big problem.
And I didn't get my license 6 months ago.
At the time, 6 months ago, give or take a couple of
You
months.
know, Miss Davis, that's a real problem
Correct.
for you
Yes.
on this case.
Yes.
You understand that?
Yes.
Because if the car was in both of your names, he works, he has a job. Problem is, she co-signed for a loan for you.
Correct.
She did something that she shouldn't have done, which is she put the car in her name, and she got that insurance, which actually defrauded the insurance company because he was in an accident, the car was totaled, they paid out on the car. Now, if they wouldn't have insured him, they wouldn't be out all this money. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. And there was no gap insurance, which means while they paid for the car, there was a difference of...
Around $3,000.
Which he has to pay for. And if you think that the other person was at fault, sue him.
I wasn't pursuing the money at the time because I was out of work and I was injured from the accident.
Understand me, I'm not awarding her any money in this case because what she did was against the law.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and
You weren't allowed to have it. You weren't allowed to insure it. She actually said, I'm driving the car. It's my car. It's not my brother's car. And you had the car all the time. You were using it for work, right?
Well, they knew it was my car. She got it insured because I couldn't get it at the time.
Are you not following what I'm saying to you? Your sister understands what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, yes, but...
Well, there's a doctrine that we use in court. It's called doctrine of clean hands. If you want the court to come in and perform an equitable function, which is there's no contract here, you want me to look at the equities in the case and say, well, who's right and who's wrong, you have to come in with clean hands. You want to co-sign for a car for somebody? That's your own stupidity. But if they're not allowed to have insurance in their own name or the insurance premiums would be too high, and what you say is, well, I'll put it in my name and I'll insure it in my name even though it's your car, then you can't ask the courts to come and help you afterwards. You understand that?
Yes.
Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Hopefully he pays it.
She's my sister. We could have worked something out, but she didn't want to. She wanted to take it to this step.
It's dropped my credit score very much. It's hard to get, credit cards or anything for that matter.
The car accident was not my fault.
No more.
Not do stupid things like this.
$10,000.
Yes.
You had a big chunk of money.
Yes.
an ex says their loan is his problem.
It was taken out in his name alone.
I don't care.
He borrowed against my CD.
With your permission.
With my permission, yes.
But how much did she benefit?
I helped pay bills. I purchased another car. The way I see it is...
I don't care the way you see it. I'm not interested in the way you see it.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Denise White is suing her ex-boyfriend, Eric Anderson, for a loan and child care bills.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 324 on the calendar in the matter of White versus Anderson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Ms. White, Mr. Anderson is your former boyfriend, and you have one child together who is how old?
8.
You and Mr. Anderson live together?
For a short time, yes.
When did you live together?
2009 till 2013. Or 2014, excuse me.
And were you employed?
Yes.
What were you doing?
I was a fuel tax administrator.
Outside of the home?
Yes. I worked for a
And
company.
what did you do, Mr. Anderson?
I was a sanitational engineer.
And from 2009 to 2018, we had 2 employed people. You had a child who was in daycare, I assume. Somebody was taking care of him, and you were running your household.
Yes.
2014, the 2 of you separated. This is what the case is about. It is your claim, Ms. White, that Mr. Anderson took out a loan, which you took out for him for bills, and you put up as collateral a CD that you had, and he paid it for a while and then stopped. So you want the balance of that loan paid, and in addition, you want certain child care expenses after 2014. Mr. Anderson says it's ridiculous. He doesn't owe any money. That loan was taken out. Joint bills were paid out of that money, and he pays child support. And if you need money for expenses that are not ordered by the court, that's not his responsibility. Okay, so I would like the month and year that this loan was taken out.
May 2013.
While you were still together?
Correct. It was taken out in his name alone.
It was taken out in his name alone? Then why are you involved with it?
Because he borrowed against my CD.
With your permission?
With my permission, yes.
That's all I want to know used for.
It was used to pay
Look
off
at me.
a previous loan that I had with Miss White.
Tell me, put your hand down. Tell me about that loan.
I had taken out a loan with Miss White.
In what year?
I want to say it was in 2006 or 7.
Before you lived together?
Yes. There was the payoff. There was over a $2,000.
Put your hand down.
There was over a $2,000 on the previous loan balance that I had.
You weren't living together at that time?
No.
So that loan was strictly your loan?
Yes.
And there was a $2,000 balance on that?
Yes.
And the loan that you took out against Miss White's CD was for $10,000?
Yes.
So $2,000 of that is clearly your responsibility. If you took out and paid off your loan that was taken out before you were living together as a family,
yes,
I believe that that's your responsibility. So now we're down $8,000.
Yes.
What did you do with the other $8,000?
I helped pay bills.
Like what? Did you have a car?
I did at the time, which was going out, so I purchased another car.
Just a second.
Yes.
You purchased another car for you?
For a family, so I could get back and forth to work.
Okay,
but yes,
just
it
a
was
second.
for me.
Do you still have that car?
Yes, I do.
Interesting. How are you going to handle that, Miss White?
I don't have the car. It's his car. He purchased it. The reason the title is in both names.
But you have a problem, Miss White. And your problem is this. If you're no longer together and he's driving around in a car and your name is on the title.
He's not driving it.
Who is driving it?
Nobody. It's unregistered, uninsured, has been.
You have a great answer, but where is the car?
I have the car in storage.
Why?
Because with the winters in New England, it's a sports car. I will not put it on the road. It is almost an antique, and I can't get it registered without Mrs. White's signature on the insurance so that I can actually put it on the road. That's why I have,
How much did you pay for the car?
$3,900.
So out of the $10,000, $2,000 was yours from a previous loan that was exclusively yours.
Yes.
For $4,000, you bought a car.
Yes.
So that's $4,000 left. Now, you understand that you're not getting any money unless the title to the car is signed over to him.
He can have it. I've offered it before.
Just a second. Great. You have the title with you?
No, I have the title at home.
Oh, well, that's a problem. That's a problem, because you're not going to get any money until he gets the signed title.
I give it to him as soon as I get home tomorrow.
Great.
Not a problem.
Perfect. Next, already, I want to know what. You're working, she's working, so you're each contributing to the household. So far, $6,000 of this $10,000 loan is exclusively yours. I'm trying to look to see what you did with the other $4,000.
There was a point at time that Miss White was out of work for over 6 months.
Just a second. From when to when?
I can't remember.
When?
2015.
Well, 2015.
I was out of work for a year.
From when to when?
From October 2014 to October 2015. I was collecting unemployment.
Well, unemployment doesn't support you. Who was supporting you other than unemployment?
We split the bills. I got $250 a week from him out of his paycheck into my account, and that paid our bills.
Okay, well, then I'm considering... Then unless you can tell me some other major purchase that he purchased, like his loan and his sports car, so far he owes $6,000. That $4,000 I'm taking off because that's your family.
But it's not. He didn't pay the bills out of that money. He passed through it. And I have in writing that he owes me the money and will pay it.
Then you shouldn't be here. Then you don't have a problem.
I have to come here to get it. He won't give me any money.
Oh, just a second. How much did you pay on the loan?
From $10,000, I owed just right around $4,000 left on the loan.
So there was $4,000.
Something.
Is that an accurate number?
Yes.
Good. So then each of you are going to be responsible for $2. Half of that. You be responsible for $2.
I disagree.
He's going to be... I don't care whether you agree or not.
I have proof.
Listen to me.
It was his loan. It was not used for household stuff, and I have proof of that.
Listen to me. When you are together...
We weren't together for 1 year when he took out that loan. The rest, he's paid every payment on his own.
He took out the loan while you were together.
To buy a car and pay off his debt, not mine.
That's a $4,000 car and a $2,000 debt. That leaves $4,000 left.
He had 2 bankruptcies. He owed me money from bankruptcies that I filed for him. He paid me for that.
$2,000. Okay, let's go. The next thing that you claim that he owes you is for child care expenses. From what year?
I'm not done with the loan. I have loan payments.
Just a second. We're finished with the loan. We're now going to the child care expenses. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Great. Child care expenses. From what year?
Can I ask one question?
No, I don't answer questions.
But
from what?
He took out a loan.
From what year?
He said he took out a loan in 2006 for us. We weren't together in 2006.
Listen to me. I've given you credit for that. I said $6,000 of the $10,000 solely is his responsibility.
It's all his responsibility.
Miss White, $6,000 of this $10,000 loan was solely his responsibility. He paid off a prior loan that was taken out for him in 2006 when you were not living together, and he bought himself a car, which he has possession of, and you, before you get this $2,000, are going to sign over the title to the car to him and send. Do you understand? Yeah. Perfect. Now I'm going to get back to my next question. What child care expenses, from when do you believe he owes you?
From the time he stopped paying me in January till... January of 2017 till April of 2017.
January of 2017. Now, January 2017, were you under a child support order?
No, I was not.
January 2017 until what date?
It was...
April.
April of
January, February, March. And April, he became subject to a child support order.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. What is that order?
What she's going after...
Just tell me, what is the child support order?
What I pay? It was, at that point, $161 plus back arrears on top of that.
Listen, I'm a family court lady. I know what it's like. So in April, they made an order for $161. Current.
Current. Till August.
$161 time fix arrears.
Yes, they did.
In what amount?
$40 and 25 cents.
$40, how often?
Every other week on top of the $161.
Okay, so every 2 weeks you pay $161 plus $40.20 on arrears.
Yes.
What period of time do the arrears cover?
As far as I know, it was everything prior to going to that date.
All I want to know is, do we have an order?
I don't have the original
Just a second.
order.
Well, that's what I want. I want an order that says what the arrears are for.
I have.
May I see it?
Goes to April 7th.
Was this the first child support order?
Yes, I filed.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
And you had a hearing?
Yes.
And the judge fixed arrears at $1,690.50, according to this.
Correct.
And ordered him to pay $40.20 bi-weekly in addition to the $161.
Correct.
Then you're not entitled to any more money.
But the arrears was only going from April 1st till he paid in June. I have it right here. The arrears doesn't go back to what the agreement we had from January to March.
Then you should have listened to me.
But we had an agreement. They asked me if I wanted to pay so much a week, and he was paying, and I had no issue with it. He stopped paying. They asked me if I wanted to go back. It was more money than what he already owed, so I said no. The court order starts April 7th.
This order is dated August 9th, 2017.
Correct. The arrears go back to April of 2017.
I don't care. This matter has been adjudicated in a family court.
No, it has not. The past due of what he owes me, I have it right here in writing after the court order. After the court order,
it can't be after the court.
He owes me
Listen to me. It can't be after the court order.
It is because the court only covers April on. The previous money that he owed me, they said I can go after him or they can take it and put it back to the arrears. I have it in writing that he owes me and he will pay me, so I told them that we would take care of it outside of court.
Very good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000 until it'll be held until you get it. I'm going to explain it to you one more time. You get 1 day.
Can I appeal this to another court?
No, you can't explain it to me. You can't tell me. You went to court. There's a judicial order. A judge in...
Yep, starting in April. What about the 9 years before that?
What about the princess who lost her golden slippers?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Something fell on it.
Yes, I believe something fell on it.
I don't care what you believe. Trust me. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for a long time. Okay? I'm not your enemy yet. Okay?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Denise White says the father of her child, Eric Anderson, owes for a loan and child care bills.
What I'm telling you is, in August of this year, the court, after a hearing, fixed his arrears at $1,690.
For April on.
We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. Miss, step out.
She thinks she's in the right and I'm in the wrong, which she always has.
Would you like to see the texts asking for my money?
She's always had people help her out like I have.
Because he's a loser.
She always thinks that.
Everybody takes care of him.
I just don't want anything to do with her except for my son.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Mayorga versus Ceballos. Step forward.
25-year-old Paloma Mayorga is suing her neighbor, Elisa Ceballos, for damage to her car windshield after a potted plant fell from her balcony.
Miss Mayorga, you and the defendant live in the same building complex.
That's correct, ma'am.
And you have assigned parking spaces.
Yes.
And has a balcony.
Correct.
And on her balcony, she's got a lot of potted plants. I assume you have a green thumb. You like to play with your plants?
I do.
Oh, good. How many do you have on your balcony?
I have 5.
Tell me what kind of plants you have.
I have a fern, I have 2 cucumbers, I have a wild flower, and I have a jalapeno.
So you have some vegetable plants.
Yes.
And 1 floral.
Yes.
And they're in different kinds of pots.
Yes.
Do you repot them when you buy them, or do you use the pots that you get from the nursery or grocery store?
Some from the grocery, and some are, one of them's terracotta, or 2 of them are terracotta.
One is terracotta, most of them are plastic, the kind that you get back from the grocery store. Okay, and you parked your car in your assigned parking space. You come out one day. The day was?
September 11th, I know, because
9/11 of this year.
Yes, of this year.
And your windshield was broken?
Yes.
And when you parked it, your windshield wasn't broken?
No.
When you park your car, do you park it nose first into the parking space?
That's correct.
So either a person had to purposefully come around with an object and bash in your windshield, because they wouldn't have gotten it from, it wasn't a back windshield,
no,
it was the front.
The impact came directly from above.
Well, you're not sure of that because you weren't there.
I am sure
your
of that.
Look, either somebody had to do it purposely with an object. Hear what you believe. Trust me. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for a long time. Okay? I'm not your enemy yet. Okay?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is this your balcony?
That is my balcony.
Well, why would you put a plant precariously on the ledge?
They need sun, and
well, that's pretty ridiculous. Ms. Ceballos, this is actually pretty stupid.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
25-year-old Paloma Mayorga is suing her neighbor, Elisa Ceballos, for damage to her car windshield after a potted plant fell from her balcony.
So your windshield was broken. The way your car was parked, either somebody had to purposefully come and break your windshield or something fell on it.
That's correct.
Correct, right. And you looked up and you saw your windshield, and directly above you are Miss Sabalos' pepper plants and cucumber plants and floral plants, and they're on her balcony.
Yeah, a variety of potted items that you can clearly see.
Okay. Now, is there a railing around her balcony?
There is a railing around the balcony.
Do you have a photograph of it to show me? I'd like to
do.
take a look at it so I can visualize exactly what it is. Thank you. Oh, Miss Sabalos, this is actually pretty stupid. Is this your balcony?
That is my balcony.
Well, why would you put a plant precariously on the ledge?
They need sun, and
well, that's pretty ridiculous.
That's where they were.
What do you mean that's where they were? Somebody once said, your dogs are barking all night long, and that's what dogs do, they bark. Well, then put them inside. What do you mean they need sun? So that's why I put it in a place where a gust of wind can knock it off and actually hurt somebody?
If I may, the same day that this happened to her car, the person right above her car on the balcony right below me had a bicycle and hanging plants. And I've seen it before.
Show me a picture.
I don't have one because I'm not photographing people's balconies.
Well,
I am.
Listen to me.
She is after...
Listen. Hey, Miss Sabalos.
Yes.
Listen to me very carefully. You're not an unintelligent person. Did she contact you the day that this happened? Listen, that's a yes or a no?
Yes.
Okay. So she contacted you the day that this happened, and she came up to you and said, my car was just smashed, and she had looked up and you had other plants on your terrace. So now I say to myself, intelligent lady, I went downstairs and I looked where her car was, and I see that the neighbor also had hanging plants and other things. You see that machine, all right? You'd snap a picture of it. So your answer isn't a smart one to me. Your answer is, look, it could have been the plant of the person above me, below me. Maybe it was a bicycle that fell. Instead of, I don't go around taking pictures of people's balconies.
If I may, that person was moving out the same day that happened to her vehicle.
Ma'am, I've been walking out that back entrance to get to my car.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
The answer is you don't have a photograph. Not that I don't go around taking pictures of people's balconies.
I don't have a photograph.
Very good. How much was it to fix your windshield?
It cost $259.30 in total to replace.
May I see that, please?
Yes. And then attached are my bank statements to prove that I paid it.
Not a good place to put things that can precariously fall off for you, your upstairs neighbor, and your downstairs neighbor. $259.30. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Why is that excuse? You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The day I went up and knocked on her door, I asked her to show me her balcony to prove it, although at the time I didn't ask her how many pots she had.
I'm positive because it's not my plant.
She mentioned specifically to me that she had a basil plant. There was no basil plant on the balcony.
It's not. All 5 of my pots are there.
Later, when I found the pot, lo and behold, it was a basil plant that looks exactly like the rest of the pot she's got on her balcony.
You know what? She's not a neighbor. She's a psycho.
She's a liar, and I'm really glad I have my money.
You left because?
The relationship ended.
A mutual thing?
No. It ended 2 days after our son was born.
Terrible timing for a crushing breakup.
Did you have any sort of a discussion with each other about the apartment?
No.
You just left.
But this ex says he's still haunted by her.
I had to move out because she was, constantly harassing me coming there. I had to get a restraining order for her to stop coming.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Anna Soiza is suing the father of her child, Henry Zamora, for his share of a lease termination fee.
Order. All rise. It's case number 299 on the calendar, the matter of Soiza versus Zamora.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. Sarza, you and the defendant have a child together.
Yes.
And you had an apartment that was jointly leased, and you lived in the apartment until shortly after the baby was born.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then you left. When was that? In what year?
2015.
What month?
August.
And you left because?
The relationship ended.
A mutual thing?
No.
Who ended it?
It ended 2 days after our son was born, so I decided to leave.
Well, was there an argument, a fight, or was it just, we're done?
It was a, we're done. I left with my parents because he had nowhere else to go, so for the time being, he stayed in the apartment.
So you left with your parents?
Yes.
And did you have any sort of a discussion with each other about the apartment?
No.
You just left?
I left. He stated about a month later that he would like to move to Koreatown, which is where he lives right now. So eventually he did leave. I wanted the apartment once he left.
And did you move back?
No, I never got the option. He terminated the lease without my permission.
Okay, he terminated the lease because he left. And that was a month later?
That was 2 months after I had left.
When you were living together, were you sharing the expenses of the apartment?
I paid the bills, he paid the rent.
Okay, so you were sharing the
Yes.
expenses. And when you wrecked?
All the expenses were his when he terminated the lease early.
No, you terminated your lease by not paying the expenses and leaving with your parents.
Yes.
You moved out. I mean, as it happens, it's between the landlord. You both terminated the lease early, and there was an early termination fee, which is what she wants. She wants you to pay half of the early termination fee. You did, in fact, terminate the lease early, correct?
I did terminate the lease early, but...
Did you pay an early termination fee?
No, because I was forced to leave. I didn't want to leave. I could have stayed there, and she could have avoided those expenses herself if she would have signed off her lease, but she refused to do that.
That's not the way that it happened, Your Honor.
Just a second. So, Ms. Soiza, after you moved out with your parents, did you ever return to the apartment for 5 minutes?
Yes.
How often?
We were visiting with our son.
No.
Probably
How often did you return to the apartment?
Once a week.
Did you always come announced?
Yes. There was only once that I came unannounced, and it was to get my furniture.
And on what date did you come to get property?
I don't recall the exact date.
It was August 24th when she moved out and had her family help her move all this.
Just a second. But she left at the beginning of August?
Yes.
And
all of my
3 weeks
belongings stayed there.
You were supposed to
all
pay?
the expenses that were on the inside the home, the furniture, the bills,
No,
I
listen
continued
to me.
paying.
In the month of August?
The month of August, yes.
Yes. What bills did you pay?
We had internet, all the furniture that we were paying. I paid myself. I continued to pay any type of extra expenses aside from the rent.
And who did you give that money to?
I paid directly to the gas company, to the internet.
In August?
August and forward until he left.
Were those bills in your name?
Yes. One was mutually under both of our names, which was the furniture.
Mr. Zamora, it's relatively simple, sir. You both terminated the lease on this apartment within a relatively close period of time. The landlord levied a early termination fee. You have to pay half. Do you understand?
That was not the case. We excessively tried to get her to sign off on the lease, and I have that evidence here that she never signed.
It doesn't matter.
And I had to move out because she was, constantly harassing me coming there. I had to get a restraining order for her to stop coming, and that's when the landlord allowed for me to be able to break the lease. Otherwise, I was not able to break the lease.
Do you have proof that you got a restraining order to keep her out of the house?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
It was a temporary restraining order that was
I don't
dismissed.
care. I don't care. It just belies your story that you had just appointments to meet once a week for visits. Just want to see what he said. Would waste time to go to a family court to get a restraining order if you were coming only on notice.
And it was unnoticed, Your Honor.
When I went to go get my things, Your Honor, I did not go with notice. I had let him know a couple days prior, not the exact day. Things started getting out of hand once I started getting my belongings and
Well, what you considered
finalized
your
the end of the
belongings, was there
relationship.
any issue as to who the things belonged to?
Yes.
Well, then that's a problem. You said I came to get my belongings as if there was no issue as to whether or not they were your belongings. But clearly there was an issue as to whose belongings they were, right?
Yes.
Let me see the notice that you sent him that you were coming to get your belongings.
It was in the form of a text message 2 years ago. I no longer have it.
Did she send you notice that she was coming to get her belongings?
It was like a verbal agreement because her family was going to show up that day. So I had time to call a unit for civil standby to prevent any type of false allegations from happening since there was
somebody
high conflict.
Was there?
Her entire family came.
No, but was there a police officer
Yeah, there was a unit that was called in to...
And were you there?
And I was there, and my mother was there.
And was there any dispute as to property?
There was miscellaneous stuff, like as far as kitchen, but the major issue was my TV. She wanted to take it, but then she finally realized that she wasn't going to take it. We made it to an agreement, but...
Whatever. And ultimately what she took was her property.
All the property, yeah. She took the furniture that we split. I mean, she took everything.
Well, the furniture that you split, was it being paid off?
Yes.
Who was paying for it?
I mean, I paid the initial deposit of $400, but she made the rest of the payments.
Because that was the agreement, that she paid for the expenses and you paid for the rent.
And I paid for the rent.
For the short time that you lived together, how long did you live together?
Our lease started April 2016, and I terminated the lease in October.
No, but she moved out in August. So for 4 months that you lived there together, while you were paying the expenses, he was paying the rent. That's how you agreed to split the expenses on the apartment.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, in effect, he was paying for a piece of the furniture as well, because you weren't paying any rent, but you were living there, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right? So that what you were paying for were other things, because that's the way you chose to split your finances. Did you ever think of it that way?
We chose to split. Sometimes we would split it evenly, and we would share expenses. If he couldn't make something on time, I would help him.
Did you ever pay the rent?
I paid portion of the rent sometimes when he couldn't pay for it.
Never.
I don't believe it. Okay, let me see the letter from the landlord.
I gave you the letter from the landlord explaining the sign-off, expressing the termination.
30-day written notice to vacate is required. Resident agrees to pay a termination fee in the amount of 1 month's rent. Is that your signature?
It should be, yes.
Did you pay the 1 month's rent?
I think we split that.
No, Your Honor, there's an email that I handed to the bailiff as well from the lease company that states they have never received any payment from Mr. Zamora.
What was the rent?
It's $16.91 or something like that. It's like $1,700.
Well, you agreed to pay them, sir, $16.91. And they agreed to let you out of your lease. Mr. Zamora, this is what you gave me. Are you confused?
I'm not.
Well, did you pay? That was your obligation to pay 1 month.
I was unable to pay for that because right after that, I had to move into a new location.
So the answer is you didn't pay that. The answer is you didn't pay. Well, that's what you're here for. You're supposed to recall. You're supposed to be able to go back a year or so or more if you have to and get pay stubs. So the answer is you did not pay what you said you were going to pay. $16.91.
I made several payments, but I discontinued the payments.
Well,
and
then that's your problem.
Proof of that.
Then that's your problem, because then the landlord doesn't have to abide by this, and he can charge you a lease termination fee, which he's done evidently.
This is the itemized bill from the apartment company, including the termination and other charges.
You moved out in October?
Yeah, I terminated on the 24th. I paid up to that date, and I was forced to move out due to all the harassing visitations and the threats. I would have stayed there, and if she would have signed off...
You have to pay us $1,675. The rest she's going to have to take up with the landlord herself. $1,675. Doesn't know for November, he doesn't know for December.
Your Honor, the apartment was in great condition when I left.
$1,675. Now, I have a counterclaim. Counterclaim is for money owed for harassment. You want to tell me what the harassment is in 30 seconds or less, Mr. Zamora?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
I'm this car. I was coming down North Druid Hill. The light was green. So as I was coming upon the intersection, I seen him turning, and I said, he's not going to make it. And I just braced for impact, and that's when we collided.
Closed captioning is provided by Real Cases, Real People, Judge Judy. Anna Soiza says the father of her child, Henry Zamora, owes for a lease termination fee. Henry is countersuing.
Seconds or less, Mr. Zamora?
During the time when we were having to move out, after I moved out, there's been continued incidents where anytime that we have custody of the child, if I don't answer a call within a particular time or I don't answer her text, she'll call a welfare check on my child all the time. So I have a lot of...
Listen to me.
I have like 20 business cards here from police having to come over.
Great. Take her back to family court and move for an order of total custody. Because she's making...
I have 50% custody. We've already arranged that.
I understand that. If you feel as if her harassment of you is making it impossible for you to parent, take her to court and ask to have her custody rights terminated, you to have full custody, and for her to have visits periodically. Sir, that's not handled by a monetary award. If what she's doing, according to you, is making it impossible for you to parent your child by being a pain in the neck, because you can't quite come to terms with the fact that you now have a shared custody order, take her to court and say, I now have 20 police officers who are going to come and testify before you about her calling to check on the welfare of the child, something I don't do when the child's in her custody. If that's what you're telling me, and if that's what you're telling me, I'm telling you what your remedy is. Do you understand? There's a response to somebody being an inappropriate parent, and that is a parent. And an inappropriate parent calls the police to do a welfare check when a child every day is with their other parent to say, well, go and make sure the child is okay. Do you understand? Do you get it? Perfect. I don't want to hear anymore. I don't know if you do it or whether you don't do it. If you do it...
I don't. He's a 2-year-old child. All I ask is if he has him for 5 days at a time, send me a text, tell me he's okay. I don't need to talk to him.
Just a second. It's not unreasonable. Do you text him every day that the child is in your custody and tell him that the child is okay? Just answer. That's either a yes or a no. So does she send you a text every day?
He even video chats with him every day.
Not every day, no. There's no need for that. But I don't feel like I'm responsible for this.
Just a second. I'm telling you, you are. Do you get it? The problem that you had was her coming to get her furniture. That was the one time. You acknowledged it.
No, she came in many times. I have incidents here.
Say goodbye to them.
Step out.
He wanted to leave, and he did leave to Koreatown. He wanted to. He did.
I had to leave due to a lot of harassment.
I think it was a ploy to just retaliate for me leaving.
I believe she's scorned that, our relationship did not work out.
I decided I wasn't going to take it, and the relationship was not for me.
I did not take her back in.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of McIntosh versus Freeman. Step forward.
Shadorian McIntosh is suing fellow motorist Michael Freeman for an accident in an intersection.
Each of you claim that the other is responsible for an automobile accident that occurred in April of this year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Were you driving your own car?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you driving your own car?
Yes, ma'am.
Was your car insured?
Yes.
Was your car insured?
No, ma'am.
That's why we're here.
Yes, ma'am, but the accident was my fault, so.
Well, if you had insurance, the insurance company would have dealt with that.
Clear.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You got impatient and went around her and cut her off to make the left turn. And that's why she gave the police her name, because you went around her car, cut her off, she was making a left turn, and there was no green arrow.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Shadorian McIntosh says fellow motorist Michael Freeman made an illegal left turn in front of her. Michael is countersuing for his car damage.
Is your car insured now?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you given a ticket for not having insurance?
No, ma'am.
Why not? Don't police ask regularly?
Yes, ma'am, they do. On the police report, he stated that he had nationwide.
May I see it, please? You told the insurance company you had nationwide insurance.
No, ma'am. I've been with USA since 17 years, ma'am.
So they made this up when they said insurance company nationwide. What kind of car were you driving?
I had a 2013 Nissan Rogue.
And you, sir?
2003 Infinity.
Where were you going?
Actually, ma'am, was going toward the lounge.
What time?
I think it was about 10:30, ma'am.
Why don't you go over to the Miss McIntosh and show me where your car was and how you were traveling?
This is La Vista and North Druid Hills Road. I'm this car. I was coming down North Druid Hills. The light was green. So as I was coming upon the intersection, I seen him turning and I said, he's not gonna make it. And I just braced for impact, and that's when we collided.
What kind of road is this?
It's a regular intersection.
How fast were you going?
About 40, 45.
Excessive.
You can step back. Your story is that you had a green arrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Police didn't do any other report?
There was an independent witness that was on the side that spoke up and came forward and said...
Didn't they just... Can't tell a witness?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the name of the witness?
Denham.
Do you have her information?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to have it.
It's on the police report. 3rd page.
So let's see if I can reach Miss Denham. If not, it's not going to go well for you, sir, because you don't have insurance. You understand that?
Well, I have a witness.
I don't care.
Oh.
Is this Denham? This is Judge Judy Shineland. Good morning. I'm calling you because I'm in the middle of trying a case involving an automobile accident that happened on April 3rd of this year, and you were a witness to that accident. Can you tell me where you were standing? So you were driving. Okay. Can you tell me whether the woman who was traveling straight had the green light, or whether the man who was making a left turn had a green arrow? Turn lane. You have made my day so much easier, Miss Denham, and I thank you very much for being so articulate and clear. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So this idiot who was driving in the car with you, who was going to testify on your behalf as a witness, I'm not interested in. Because if you think that I think, or that any normal person would think, that you would bring a witness who was with you in the car to testify that she was in the right, why do I have to waste my 3 minutes asking him a question? When I have a perfectly independent witness who doesn't know either of you from a hole in the wall, said that she was in the turn lane waiting to make a left turn. Your car was behind her. The plaintiff had a green light. So there were green lights going in both directions. She was waiting, coming straight. There is no green arrow there. You got impatient and went around her and cut her off to make the left turn. That's why she stopped, and that's why she gave the police her name, because you went around her car, cut her off, she was making a left turn, and there was no green arrow. How much was the damage to your car?
Ma'am, it was totaled. I had the insurance company and what they paid out.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
The young lady was speeding. I said she went through the light.
I have a baby, car seat, stroller.
No, I was making a left turn. Like I say, basically, like I say, she was speeding through the light, trying to make it.
All in an Uber, MARTA, transportation.
And she hit my car so hard, she bent the frame.
I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful for her.
When did she bail you out?
At the time I was arrested.
And that was 7 years ago.
A deadbeat boyfriend reappears.
I get a random Facebook message from him saying, hey, I was thinking about you.
Are you married to somebody else now?
I am.
Then she went into debt all over again.
For some reason, you gave him $2,500. Live in what universe?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Christina Martinez is suing her ex-boyfriend, Adrian Diaz, for a bail bond and money to clean up her credit.
Order. All rise. It's case number 4 on the calendar, the matter of Martinez versus Diaz.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Diaz, how long ago were you and Miss Martinez involved in a relationship?
Years ago, maybe 7, 6, 5, somewhere around there.
5, 6, 7.
And when we started in 2010, we broke up, I believe, like in 2014 or something like that.
And when were you arrested?
2010, I believe. Maybe 2011.
When did she bail you out?
At the time I was arrested.
And that was 7 years ago?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you arrested for?
I believe it was just an unpaid traffic ticket. I didn't go to court on a ticket, failure to appear or something. It was a long time ago.
Well, they didn't arrest you for that. They didn't come to your house and arrest you for an unpaid parking ticket.
I was driving, got pulled over, had a warrant, subsequently was arrested.
Okay, so you had an outstanding warrant.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you failed to appear in court. Probably, yes.
Your Honor,
you had an outstanding warrant because you failed to appear in court for something.
It could have been a failure to pay. I don't know. I'm just saying, but probably.
How much was your bail?
Excuse me?
How much was your bail?
10,000 maybe. I'm sorry. This was a long time ago.
Oh, Mr. Diaz, you know, it's just so stupid. I mean, if you had an unpaid traffic ticket, you got pulled over, and somebody put $10,000 bail on you for an unpaid traffic ticket, where do you live? In what universe?
This one.
In this universe?
Yes.
In this universe, they probably give you a testimonial dinner for an unpaid parking ticket.
Not a parking ticket. I said probably a driving violation. A driving
You mean
ticket.
like speeding?
No, I mean like maybe driving on a suspended license or something like that.
Oh, you mean, well, just a second. So you got arrested for driving on a suspended license, you didn't show up in court, and you got pulled over again for a traffic violation. And when you got pulled over on a traffic violation, they found out that you were still driving on a suspended license and you hadn't shown up for it. Even that doesn't make $10,000 because I think, Mr. Diaz, that you're full of baloney. Anyway, how much was his bail?
The total, 2015.
Did you pay them?
Yes.
Do you have proof of that?
I do.
May I see it, please? What was he arrested for?
Recall, but it was in regards to when he got pulled over. It was, I think he drove with a suspended license.
No, that's not why you get pulled over.
He was speeding, and he got pulled over, and when they pulled him over, they ran his information, and he had a warrant out for his arrest, and I believe it was because...
In the rest of the time that you were together, from 2010 to 2014, was he ever arrested again?
Yes.
For what? For what?
I'm going to be honest, he just...
No, I want you to be dishonest with me. That's what I'm in the business of. I'm in the business of dishonest.
A lot of it was for tickets that he wasn't paying, that he wouldn't pay.
Other than tickets?
Nothing. Your Honor, with all due respect, she doesn't know why I got pulled over. So all that is speculation.
$2,015. Now, so far he hasn't paid you $2,015. That he owes you.
Correct.
Are you married to somebody else now?
I am.
You should get down and kiss the ground.
Literally?
No.
Okay.
No. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I should be kissing the ground.
You?
This was a long time ago, Your Honor.
How old are you?
40.
How many times have you been arrested, Mr. Diaz, for anything? Arrested?
Maybe...
By a police officer who said, get out of the car, put your hands behind your back. How many times, Mr. Diaz, have you been arrested?
Maybe 4.
Well, between 2010 and 2014, how many times have you arrested?
Probably twice.
I was in my 30s, first time I was arrested, which I don't believe. I would say, gee, this was an unpleasant experience. An experience I don't want to replicate. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be put in a holding cell. I don't want to be around a lot of people that I don't like. Some of them are here not because they were just speeding, but because they robbed somebody with a knife, or they hit somebody over the head and took their money, or they raped somebody. So this is not an experience I want to replicate. The first time, you did it so far twice, according to you. She would say a couple more times, but let's say I take your word, 2 times. Then you got arrested a 3rd time. For what?
Every time I've been arrested, it's been a warrant for a ticket.
You mean warrant for something that had to do with a vehicle?
Absolutely. Yes. Unfortunately, Your Honor, driving, you know, at the time I was living in L.A. County, and sometimes I get pulled over a lot just being an African-American male. I know you probably don't want to hear that. That's just the truth.
Mr. Diaz.
That's just the fact of the matter.
Mr. Diaz, there are millions upon millions of African-American males who don't have suspended driver's licenses. And if they have a suspended driver's license, they don't drive. And if they drive and get a ticket for having a suspended license, have a warrant, Mr. Diaz.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the third time you got arrested was for another ticket. Now, Mr. Diaz, who sounds like a really smart guy, according to you, which I don't believe, you got arrested for a fourth time, again, having to do with your suspended license. Do you
I never said it was for a suspended license. I said,
well, you said
it was
the first
in
time
regards to warrants for tickets. I never said what it was about.
You said suspended license first time.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to ask you this time, Mr. Diaz, do you have a current driver's license?
Yes, I do.
When did you get one?
Years ago.
You see, so you finally learned. How many years ago?
5, maybe.
Well, 5 years ago would bring us back to 2013. So you've been arrested twice since 2014, according to you. According to you.
Your Honor.
Not my math, your math.
May I, please?
Just a second. So now you don't have a suspended driver's
license.
license.
May I interject real quick, please? I'm sorry, Your Honor. With all due respect, I don't understand why my driving record is relevant, number one. Number two,
why didn't you
when I got arrested in 2010 or whatever, that ticket was from like 2001 or 2003. It was all old stuff.
Who cares? Why didn't you pay her and pay off this bond? It's not her bad. It was your bad. Why didn't you pay it?
To the best of my recollection, she paid that. That was on her. That's
what we're making.
Your Honor, we were in a relationship. And when you're in a relationship, you do things to help the other person out.
Just a second, I want to know what you did to help her.
Other
than having a me. I mean, I had one guy here who said years ago, you get a me. I want to know, other than getting a you.
Again, Your Honor.
I want to know, other than getting a you, what did you give her?
In regards to that, no clue. But I gave her plenty of other things throughout our relationship.
So no clue means you're clueless.
In regards to that topic, yes.
Okay. So far you owe her $2,015. Now I want to hear about the stupidity on your end. Because if I'm reading what I believe you wrote here, that you were trying to clean up your credit, who contacted whom?
He had reached out to me back in 2016 because when we broke up, it was a very unhealthy relationship. So we didn't speak or see each other for years. Back in 2016, I get a random Facebook message from him saying, hey, I was thinking about you. You know, I just wanted to see how you were doing, how I know you're married now, you have kids. Hope all is well, and just basically wanted to apologize about how things ended with us, and you know how he just wanted to basically say
don't basically. I don't want to hear basically or like.
Thank you. Sorry. And that he just wanted to hope one day we can be friends and let all the bad stuff.
Why did you want to be friends with him? He's just a troublemaker.
Yeah, I mean, when you have someone apologize for things for their wrongdoings, I felt
compelled.
I wouldn't say compelled, but I mean, I just felt. I felt good when it felt nice to have him apologize for all the nasty and BS.
Thank you. I accept your apology. Goodbye. Have a happy life. I have a happy life. Goodbye. But you didn't. For some reason, you gave him according to you, you gave him $2,500. Now, when did you give him $2,500 and what for?
So when the lines of communication had opened between us, he had asked me, what's new with you? And I had told him at that time I had just finished school and I'm trying to consolidate my debt. He knows a lot of people. He was like, hey, I know the perfect guy that can help you out. It'll be $2,500 if you want. I could pass on your information.
So now you're debt. And you say to this person who you lived with for 4 years, who was arrested, according to you, 4 times, and I have gotten my life in order.
Correct.
And I'm married to a nice guy, and I have a couple of kids, and everything is fine.
Correct.
And this person who said, I just want to apologize.
Right.
And I know just the right guy who can help me with your problems, because right now he knows too much about your life. This will open up the lines of communication. Fine, I accept your apology. Goodbye. Right. I hope you're having a happy life. You went a little beyond that.
Correct.
Okay, that's a little stupid. All right, now. Get to the $2,500.
And then on the 22nd of December, I gave him $800.
Did you see him in person during those 2 times that you gave him money?
Yes, I gave him the money. I gave him cash.
Where did you meet him?
So we just met at the mall, literally gave him the money, and he left. At that time, he had a girlfriend who I guess found out that we were communicating, and she didn't like that. That caused a lot of problems between my relationship and his relationship.
What kind of relationship?
Well, because she was saying that I was sleeping with him when that wasn't true. And so she, contacted my husband. She called my mom, my dad.
Your Honor.
And was just trying to cause problems. So I had to call the police. I had called AJ and I told him, I was like, look, I don't want any trouble with your girlfriend, with you, because now the police are gonna get involved. I go, I just want my money back and I'll deal with my whole credit consolidation myself.
Ta-da! I'm listening to your side. Just listen to me. Do you know, sir, of most of the litigants I have today, you're not right up there.
I'm gonna change that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She had said some stuff in one of my Instagram pictures. My girlfriend at the time reached out to her husband.
How does your girlfriend know how to reach her husband?
Facebook, it connects everybody.
Doesn't connect me to anybody. I'm not on Facebook.
Christina Martinez says ex-boyfriend Adrian Diaz owes for a bail bond and money to clean up her credit.
Now, tell me about the $2,500.
Okay, this is the true story of what happened. That's her version. Here's what really happened. She reached out to me, number one. She had asked for some help in some other areas, which there was money that was involved.
No. We're here to resolve this dispute. So don't ask me she needed some help with some other areas where money was involved. Tell me.
She had some other credit challenges.
Okay, she had credit challenges.
Credit challenges.
Okay.
I knew some people that could do a boost her credit scores up. I want to say the cost was $1,600. She paid me. The service was done, no problem. The problem started when she was commenting on my Instagram pictures, saying things suggestively. I had asked her to stop doing that, knowing that I was in a relationship. Do not do this. Her and I had spoke. She wanted to be back with the bad guy, Your Honor, so as you call it. Okay, I was telling her that could not happen. That's when she started commenting on my Instagram.
What's the name of the person to whom you gave the money?
Trevor.
So you gave Trevor $1,700 because that's his business.
No, I gave Trevor $1,600 the first time.
So you gave Trevor $1,600 because that's his business.
Correct.
He is a what? What is he?
He's
Next. So that's $1,600.
Okay, right. So she started commenting on my Instagram. Okay, I had asked her not to.
Commenting on your Instagram, I told her not to, don't comment on my Instagram.
That's when her and my girlfriend at the time had got into it.
How did they get into it?
Because she had said some stuff in one of my Instagram pictures. My girlfriend at the time saw it, reached out to her husband. She reached out to my girlfriend.
Just a second. How does your girlfriend know how to reach her husband?
Facebook, it connects everybody.
Doesn't connect me to anybody. I'm not on Facebook.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You were fooled. You got duped. There is no statutory prohibition from getting duped. I don't know whether your credit score went up, went down, or went sideways. And quite frankly, I don't care, because what you did was pretty dumb.
And later today,
you don't work. Against what are you going to take the children as a deduction if you have no income?
I support them.
You don't support them. No, we support them. You don't support them. You get money from the government.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Christina Martinez says ex-boyfriend Adrian Diaz owes for a bail bond and money to clean up her credit.
Listen to me. She handed you the money.
Two separate occasions.
$1,600.
Correct.
You said she gave you, and you gave it to Trevor.
Correct.
All right, next money.
Okay, because of all the chaos that was surrounding with her and my, I couldn't even talk to her. I couldn't even be anywhere around her. So
Get to the money.
I plugged her with him. I connected her with him directly.
That's not true.
We met one time.
Oh.
And that was the first time.
Just a second.
I could no longer meet with this girl.
Shh. Listen to me. So what I want you to do is to show me the text message, phone message, any message where you just gave her Trevor's number.
I don't have that.
Everybody saves those messages. This is not so long ago.
Like that. I don't save no messages from a female that I don't even communicate with, nor do I want any interaction with. Especially at that time when I have a girlfriend who's upset and angry. Why would I keep any message from her?
Okay. So, Miss Martinez, do you want to know what I think? I'm going to tell you what I... Yes, you made poor choices. So whether he or Trevor or anybody else cleaned up your credit, I don't know or I don't care. There was no indication that he was supposed to return any of that money to you. You were fooled. You got duped. There is no statutory prohibition from getting duped. I don't know whether your credit score went up, went down, or went sideways. And quite frankly, I don't care, because what you did was pretty dumb. He owes you $2,015 for his bond. We're done.
Money back.
What can you do?
Just make better choices from here moving forward.
You live to fight another day.
Never talk to him again.
Slid in my DMs and wanted to get it back popping.
Move on and go our separate ways.
Be happy with whatever she does, and I look to do the same.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Birch versus Huffman. Step forward.
Cora Birch is suing her ex-boyfriend, Evan Huffman, for the return of belongings, tax return money, and her father's ashes.
All right, Miss Birch, you have 2 children with the defendant. He has one of the children living with him, and I assume you have the other one living with you. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How old is the child who's living with you?
9.
How old is the child who's living with you?
He's 10.
What do you do for a living, Miss Birch?
I'm a homemaker. Well, currently a student, too.
How do you support yourself?
I receive SSI.
Okay, so the first part of your claim is that Mr. Huffman took the children off on his tax returns as a deduction, and you think you're entitled to half. Just a second. That's what the first part of your claim is.
Yes,
right?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you work, Mr. Huffman?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're paid a salary.
Yes.
He's entitled to take the children as a deduction, not you. You don't work. Against what are you going to take the children as a deduction if you have no income?
I support them.
You don't support them. No, we support living with him, and he files tax returns, and he takes his 2 children off his tax deductions. He doesn't have to give you the money. You get money from the government. This is money that he earns, that he's allowed to take. If you both worked, I would say, then it's, and if each of you has 1 child, then I would say to you, it's fair for him to take 1 child and for you to take 1 child, but you don't work. What's next? You say he has property that is owed to you.
Yes.
He has property that was in a storage unit because you were both all homeless for a while. You weren't living anyplace. You had to put your property into a storage unit. What property do you claim that he has that belongs to you?
He actually still has priceless artifacts to me, like cremations of my father.
Do you have any property that belongs to her in the storage unit?
No, Your Honor.
Are there still items in the storage unit?
There are still items in the 1 storage unit that I haven't paid off yet, yes.
So there could be her items in that storage unit.
I don't think so, but...
No, ma'am.
Listen to me, Miss Birch. If you have items in the storage unit, do you pay for the storage unit? The answer is no. Do you want to contribute to paying off that storage unit so you can look and see if any of your items are there?
Actually, he signed this for taxes, and this was something, he just had my mother's cremations too. My priceless autographs, things that are meaningful to me only. He's doing...
I don't deal with that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I asked you a very simple question. I said, the 2 of you who are parents to 2 children, each of you has a child that you are raising. The government is helping to support the child who lives with you. He's taking care of, I assume, the child who lives with him. There were 2 storage units. He paid off 1. He opened it up. Your items weren't in there. Listen to me carefully. He says there is another storage unit that he hasn't paid off, so we can't get into it.
He is lying.
He says he doesn't have the property. And it may be in a storage unit that he hasn't paid off yet.
And I'm suing him for bills?
No. Bills, forget it.
Huh?
Forget it. Forget
okay.
It. Okay. Are we done here, sir?
We
are we done here?
As far as
are we done
her
here?
Side, yes.
Yes.
No.
Oh, no. We're done here.
Okay.
Okay?
Not
Good.
correct.
Good. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I want my things back.
She's trying to manipulate the system to get her way, so...
This was very, very uncalled